Hi, good afternoon. My name is Ivan and I'll be presenting my assignment 2. So here's a short introduction video of Mr. Jamerson, who has been working in Microsoft for 20 years, and he will explain more of his jobs in this short video.
Been 20 years with Microsoft. My job mainly focus on the hardware piece of the Microsoft business. I lead the Asia team. I set up the Asia team from a one-man team to a one-person team to about 580 people team over the course of the 20 years. And the fun of being working in Microsoft for me was to be able to create, build, and deliver so-called like the world-class hardware piece, including Xbox, including Surface computers. Been 20 years with Microsoft.
So, as Mr. Jamerson has introduced, he has been 20 years with Microsoft, and he was based on more on hardware and product development, and oversaw the launch of key Microsoft products, including the Xbox, the Surface, and Microsoft computers. So, for question one, the manager's personal traits that made him a good leader. So, for Mr. Cheng, uh, what traits made him a good leader was he had integrity, he had confidence, he had determination, adaptability, empathy, intelligence, sociability, and visionary. So for me, the most important one was integrity, where Mr. Cheng's career was marked by a strong sense of integrity, as evidenced by his adherence to the principle of do what you say and say what you do. So this trait ensured that he was seen in a reliable way and a trustworthy leader, fostering a culture of trust and dependability within his team. And confidence is also a very key part of Mr. Jamerson's traits because he grew the team from a one-person team to a 580 people team, which requires a significant level of confidence to lead effectively, to make decisive choices, and inspire his team to follow his lead even in challenging times. And one more, empathy. His leadership approach, which emphasized fairness and being personable, underscores his empathetic nature. So, by understanding and considering the feelings and backgrounds of his team members, he was able to connect with them personally and professionally, enhancing team cohesion and motivation. And lastly, about visionary, on the next slide, there's a snippet of Mr. Jamerson explaining why does he consider himself a visionary leader.
Visionary leader. And so that's why I think that is sometimes challenging for the people to follow because but I think it's important as a leader to set a vision and setting up the directions for the future, where the North Star, where we want to go to, and how do we get there. So I think the how piece is also something that has been so-called good feedback from the peers, my management, my subordinates, that I normally would be creating the roadmap on how to get to the North Star or get to the vision. Visionary leader. And
Alright, so question 2. The manager's behavior that made him a good leader. So the behavioral examples of what made Mr. Jameson a good leader was active listening and inclusion, goal setting and performance monitoring, personal interaction and support, inspiring and vision casting, providing feedback and coaching, and directing and commanding. For me, the most important ones are goal setting and performance monitoring because setting clear measurable objectives for each project phase and regularly reviewing these goals with the team to assess progress. So this behavior reflects his task-oriented leadership by focusing on structure and accountability. And next, what I think is really important is also providing feedback and coaching where offering constructive feedback in a supportive manner, providing training sessions, and mentoring team members to help them improve their skills. So these behaviors align with the coaching leadership styles, focusing on personal development beyond immediate job skills. And lastly, directing and commanding. So in critical project stages, when they are facing a tight deadline, uh, closely monitoring task completion and making quick decisions was what Mr. Jameson did. So these directive behaviors ensure that essential tasks can be completed effectively and standards are met. So the next question is the impact of the traits and behaviors that they possess on their employees. So the impacts of traits that Mr. Jameson's behavior had on his team was enhanced team cohesion and trust, increased motivation and employee engagement, professional growth and development, high performance and innovation, adaptability and resilience, and employee satisfaction and reduced turnover. So what is the manager's leadership style? So, Mr. Chang's leadership style has a mixture of a few leadership styles. So, basically, laissez-faire leadership, democratic leadership, transformational leadership, situational leadership, coaching leadership, and directive leadership. The most important styles that I think he has employed was laissez-faire, where he used macro-management style by setting the direction and KPIs, but allowing the individuals in the team to have freedom to figure out how to meet those targets and goals. So he demonstrated trust in his team's capabilities and encouraged them to take initiative. And for democratic, Mr. Chang frequently employed a democratic and participative leadership style, involving team members in decision making processes. This approach not only empowered employees but also utilized the diverse pool of skills and perspective within the team to make more informed and inclusive decisions. While the last one is directive leadership. When necessary, particularly in high stakes or urgent situations, he would switch it to a more directive style. So this behavior will be more essential to meeting tight deadlines and ensuring adherence to strict quality standards, crucial in the tech industry where precision and timeliness are paramount. So which notion did my manager stand by? Is a leader born or made? So for Mr. Jameson point of view, he thinks that a leader is both born and made, so nature and nurtured. So for nature, he had inherent traits, where he believed that certain people are naturally inclined to lead, which can be seen in their early interests and the roles that they adopt in various situations throughout their life. So this viewpoint aligns with the idea that some leadership qualities can be innate, while for the nurture, development and experience, environment and mentorship, leadership opportunities, career progression, adaptability in leadership roles, and good leaders can also be effective followers and vice versa. So, adaptability and leadership roles is Mr. Chang also seemed to appreciate the fluidity between leadership and followership, suggesting that good leaders can also be effective followers and vice versa. So, this adaptability is typically a learned skill, further supporting that leadership qualities can be developed. So here's a slide on Mr. Chang's perspective and Fiedler-Field's contingency model. So nature versus nurture, Fiedler's theory suggests that leadership style is inherent and should be matched with the right environment, aligning with the born aspect but tempered by situational making. In contrast, Mr. Jameson believes in the potential for inherent leadership predip- predispositions, but places significant emphasis on the made aspect through personal development and adaptability. Flexibility in leadership. Fiedler's model is less flexible in terms of personal change and focuses on adjusting environments to meet the leader's style. On Mrs. Jamison's perspective, however, suggests that leader can and should evolve, enhancing their flexibility and effectiveness through ongoing learning and situational adjustment. So lastly, for practical application, Fiedler's theory might be more applicable in situations where it's possible to match leaders to ideal scenarios, where Mr. Chang's approach is more suited to dynamic environments where leaders must adapt to varying circumstances and continue to develop their leadership capacity. So next is to relate the manager's LinkedIn profile to support their leadership style. So there are comments on Mr. Chang's leadership by Leslie, who is a quality director at Dyson. And here is the comment that she made about Mr. Jamison's leadership style. So for question 7, do you also believe in the same notion as your manager, or do you have opposing view? Why? For me, I totally agree with Mr. Jamison's point of perspective. The part where I agree the most on was the hybrid take on whether a leader was born or made. So why believing leaders are born and made is valuable? Because of natural aptitudes enhanced by training, necessity for adaptability, importance of contextual fit, and continuous learning. So the most important one is continuous learning and natural aptitudes enhanced by training for me, because while inherent traits like charisma can set the foundation for leadership, training in strategic thinking and communication also further enhances these abilities, making leaders more effective. And continuous learning, the landscape of leadership challenges continuously evolves. So leaders who engage in lifelong learnings and adapt to these changes maintain their effectiveness far better than those who rely solely on inherent traits. So what is one significant lesson that I've learned from the interviewee as a leader? For me, the most important lesson that I've learned from Mr. Jamerson is that leadership is not a static quality, but an evolving skill set. Because everyone needs to adapt to new challenges, team dynamics, and industry shifts. So this realization encourages a mindset of continuous learning and flexibility, which I find particularly applicable in my own professional development. So it has inspired me to approach leadership as a journey and constant adaptation, where the goal is not only to direct and inspire based on what I already know or can do, but to continually expand my capabilities and adjust my approach as the landscape changes. So I believe good leadership requires adaptability, as Mr. Cheng demonstrated. So it reinforces the idea that while foundational skills set the stage, leadership is about evolving and responding to the unexpected and unfamiliar. Lastly, I would like to end my presentation and thank you for listening.